In this video, I'm going to show you how an officer or supervisor enters in a use of force entry. When they log in, the first thing they do is they're going to create a new use of force entry. From there, we put in our case number. We're going to put our incident date, the time, the minutes, the day of the week, and then the incident type. These incident types are customized by you, and there could be multiple incidents that occurred. This was a traffic stop that turned into a wanted person. I'm going to click Save and Continue. If the case number appeared before, what it will ask you to do is if you want to copy over the offender information so that we don't have to enter it in twice. The example for there is if I have two officers who used force on one incident, it's considered one use of force incident, but we will autofill the offender information. So the next step is, was the officer assaulted, yes or no? All these drop downs that I'm about to show you are customized by you. So we'll give you the template to start with, which is the standard thing you're going to see today, but know that anything that's in these drop downs can be customized. So I'm going to say this was on body-worn camera and video. My reason for this was to make an arrest. I did identify myself as the police, and I also yelled taser 3 times before I tased them, so I warned use of force. Incident location is where the use of force incident happened, the city it happened in, the state, and then the zip code. From there, we talk about incident conditions. Again, all customized by you if there's certain weather that I'm not showing here and so on. But it was cloudy outside, and it was also raining. The surface was on grass. The noise was, all I heard was sirens because backup was coming. Light, it was dark, it was dusk, so we can show that it was dusk outside. I'm logged in, so it has most of my information. As you can see, this is the officer's information. His sex, his race, his height, his build. And now we're going to put the officer's status. Was he on duty or off? Clothing, plainclothes, or uniform. Years of service is also in there as well. Now, for the agencies out there that don't have the officers under the use of force report, but have the supervisor do it, they'll click Change Officer, and then they'll put in the officer information. This here is any other officer. So an example would be I had my backup officer showed up and he tried tackling or doing an armbar on the offender as well. I'm going to document that he was there and used force, but I'm not going to speak on behalf of what the officer did. He should be filing his own use of force report. The second is that this is if somebody came to back you up from an outside agency and you want to document that he was there, you can put his information in here. This is for officer witnesses, not civilian witnesses. That would go in your incident report. But this is, let's say Mike Solano was he was the third car to show up. You saw me tase the offender. Mike is now a witness of the use of force. This again would be for somebody outside of your agency. The subject information is going to be the offender information. So I'm just going to say this guy's name is Mike Smith. I'm just going to put in the fake date of birth. Mike is a male. We'll call him a male white. He's 6'1", 220. Language barrier is going to be yes, no, or unknown. Was he arrested, yes or no? And was he charged? You can have just a yes, no here. Or if you want to put the charges, you can put what you ended up charging the offender with. So I'm just going to put burglary as an example. Type of resistance was escape resistance. As you can see, this is a multiple drop down. So we can do more than one. I suspected he was under the influence of alcohol. I had no prior contact, and his weapons were his fists. Next, the officer is going to add the force that he used. So, for example, and I started with an armbar. That was ineffective. I'm going to select where I try to tackle him and then submit the first thing. After that, I pulled out my taser and I aimed center mass and I got him right in his chest. From there, I'm going to select taser. That was effective because he was placed into custody. So we're going to document that in the narrative. And then from there, I'm going to submit that force being used. After that's done, let's say we set him up and we're walking to the car and the offender starts spitting on us. We can also apply a spit hood if you have those in your department. If you don't, it's fine too, but that was effective, and that force was submitted. So I documented all the force that I used as the officer. I can update my order at any time if I made a mistake. No need to redo anything. And you can also add something and then move the order as well. Next, we're documenting, was the officer injured, yes or no? If he was, explain it. Same with the subject, same with medical treatment. This gives you the ability to upload any documents or files that you want to put in the document library, such as a supplemental report or anything else that you want within your use of force report. Narrative is an on-off feature, so you can be turned off if you don't like a narrative. If you do like a narrative, you can copy-paste the use of force section from the incident report you so choose, or it's free text, whatever you would like. From there, the officer is done filing the use of force report. Next, he's going to select his sergeant. In most departments, it's his supervisor who's going to be the first to review. He'll add that sergeant in there, and then he submits this for approval. Once he puts that through, the sergeant will get an email letting him know that a use of force report was completed, and it's up for him to complete the rest of the investigation.